This episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Geeky podcast is brought to you by Audible.com.
Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky.
Audible.com. Over 85,000 titles to choose from for your iPod or MP3 player.
Warning!
The podcast you're about to hear is very filthy. We say naughty words you would use as an adult anyway. It'll cause you not to eat your vegetables, and your mom generally thinks it's a bad idea.
Any moment of the show that has any similarity to the history of any person living or dead, real or fictional, to real events are entirely unintentional and coincidental. Unless we're specifically noted otherwise in the cast and crew credits, all celebrity voices are impersonated, and no celebrity has endorsed any aspect of this show. Hey everyone, welcome out to another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky. I'm Nick Nitro. Along with me, as always, is...
Nate.
John.
And welcome out to episode 141, the week of April 19th. But those listening to Ustream, first off, hello. And then
Hi.
We hope you enjoyed our music.
Hey, Wendy's here.
Wendy's here? Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Lord, jeez, I know. I'm so sorry. I feel like such a jerk.
We kept wanting to drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Hey, what's the name of that song at the beginning of the podcast?
That is CeeLo Green. Bright Lights, Big City.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But we actually have a very packed episode today. We interview Bob Frantz, who does the independent comic 41. We'll have him after the break. We got all your Twitters and emails and all kinds of crazy stuff. We also have a conference call with the guys from Fringe. Well, I've edited like 40 minutes of it down to like 4 little minutes or so, which will be hopefully pretty good for you guys out there. Yeah. So if you there's a little spoiler they give out. Sort of a half spoiler, which is pretty neat, and
Give out a spoy.
They give you out a spoy, yeah,
Or a peeler.
yeah, a spoy, liar. So, but yeah, so how's everyone's weeks going? Everyone's going good?
Yes.
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 I signed up for this thing called Warrior Dash.
What's Warrior Dash? Obviously, it's a dash of warriors.
John's going to do it as well.
You're going to do it too?
Yeah, but he's
I don't
going
know.
to do it.
I'm still trying to decide.
Oh, okay.
It's basically a 5K, but
Uh-huh.
instead of just running 3.1 miles, which, I mean, if it's great if you can, but it's just boring to run in a circle. It has obstacle courses in it. It's almost like a boot camp. Like you go through tunnels, you go through like a river, like going over logs, you climb hay bales, go through... I'm trying to remember everything. There's just so many different things you could... I actually didn't think about it before. I should have thought about it more before I started this shit.
No, it's okay. Well, is there a big giant man, looks like,
There's a cargo net.
built up like,
I remember there's a cargo net you climb.
Is a big man like throwing stuff at you, kind of like a gladiator maybe?
No. That'd be cool. You mean like Nitro?
Like, well, yeah, I was gonna go there.
They gotta do
Nitro or Blazer?
Yeah, they got a dude up on a pedestal shooting tennis balls
Oh,
at you.
do you remember Zap?
Yeah, dude, I remember Zap.
Oh,
Zap was
God.
sweet, dude. I remember the American Gladiators.
Scared me.
Heck yeah.
But she had a pretty face. It was just her body that was disgusting.
Did not look
Anyway, it
like
looks
two
really
fine
fun. So I
Pringles
signed
and
up. You get a
hugging
free
each
shirt,
other.
free hat. Warriordash.com.
Did not.
And they do it in like half-hour increments. So
We're in Columbus area, so is that for
it's in
nationwide?
Logan, Ohio.
It's in Logan, Ohio.
Oh, it's
If you go to
it's
Warrior
international.
Dash, yeah, they do it in different cities.
Yeah.
So now, is this a
Australia.
competition to go into a larger Warrior Dash?
No, I
My
don't
God,
think
I
so.
hope not.
I don't think so.
Are you guys? Can
I
you join
fully
in
plan
teams?
on.
No, it's individual, but I mean they encourage you to sign up with friends and
Yeah.
all
Like
go
ever-
at the same time. And
That's
Yeah.
cool, man.
I don't think it's necessarily like. I mean, they give prizes for fastest time and stuff, but
Oh, do they?
yeah, but I don't. I think it's more just
To do it.
go
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and get through it.
I
you know?
fully plan on throwing up at least 3 times.
3 times, not
last
4,
one- the last one's
not
probably gonna be a
2,
dry heave.
but 3.
The last one's probably going to be a dry.
3. That's. What about a 3? What if you did a 3 throw up?
What's that?
3 is a 3 to 5 vomit.
I'll take the rapist for 500.
And the final answer is 3. 3. Judges
I hate
judges
my
will
life.
accept that.
Pick a number. It can be any number you want.
But what about our guest host? How has her week been?
It's been very well. Thank you.
It's been very well. Nothing
Very
exciting.
good.
You created such a stir on Facebook. I mean, you out there probably don't follow her, obviously, but we follow her, obviously. And you created a little forever on your Facebook. You're like, exciting things are happening, big time adventures, and everyone's like, "What's going on, Wendy?"
I know. I had a lot of people thinking I was in this like secret relationship. Really,
Yeah.
I have just been in a great mood. My classes are
Nice,
over, and
nice.
that's
Good.
It's nice to have
And,
a little bit of a break before they start again.
I do have 3 classes left before I graduate. I started working out every night,
Awesome.
so I'm pretty excited.
How was your week?
It was.
Nick, how was your week?
It was pretty good. I was on my first ever conference call, and that really freaked me out because it's just bizarre to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought you'll call a conference line, and they'll be like, hello, you'll be added to the call, and you get added to the call, and it's like mass hysteria. No, really, like, I didn't know what it would be like, and you call the line, right, and then you get some person, you just get music, and you're like, well, did I dial in right? Because the instructions just say, call this number, say what show your what conference are you looking to join, and don't lie. And I'm like, okay. So I call the number. They're like, after music playing for 5 minutes, and it's supposed to start at like, was it something 30? I called like at 2:20 or whatever. I'm thinking this will be fine. It's 3:34. Music's still playing, and I'm like, no one's picked up. I'm like, oh my god, did they start it without me? What's going on? I think I f***ed up here. And then some guy goes, yes, welcome to the AT&T conference call center.
You're my statement.
What is your conference call definition? And I'm like, you mean what am I supposed to? Yes, your username, Fringe. Okay, that's great. Let me connect you over. You'll hear instructions when you get over. You're gonna hear music for a while. Okay. So I get music again. Another 4 minutes goes through. Again, I think I missed the call or they're started without me. Yeah, I finally get through and finally the music stops and someone goes, welcome everybody out to the AT&T sponsored Fox-based French conference call. They made sure to say French conference call. I have no idea what the U.S. version of the conference call would be, but it's the French version.
Okay.
Was anybody even talking French?
No one was talking French at all. What was the purpose of the French? Did the French create the conference call? Or this version? I don't know. So then some guy comes on like, well, thank you everybody for calling out to the conference call. We're very proud that you're here. You're going to hear some instructions here really quick, but blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then some guy comes out and is like, yeah, welcome out to the French conference call. It's great to have you here. He hated it. And he's like, I bet you're all very excited to be here.
I'm drunk.
He almost sounds like he's a little drunk. It's almost like Kif Kroker from Futurama got a little bit more monotone bass voice. And he's like,
Oh, Kif.
you're gonna do the French call. Here we go. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay. This is you're bringing me down. And then of course they say you gotta hit *1, get your question in queue. Eventually I'm going to talk to the guys who did Fringe. Yay! Yeah. Then after those 3 people have asked their sets of questions, we're running out of time.
Oh no!
We're gonna just ask you to ask one question. Which, by the way, even though you are listening to everything, all the channels are muted. So, and they go, next question is from John in Minnesota's Examiner. Go. And so then you're unmuted and you can talk. At this point, usually they will let you talk to them, like have an open conversation. But again, the 3 f***ers ruined it for everybody else. Yeah. They get to everybody else. They cut people off. They don't even get to say thanks for talking to us because we appreciate it. They cut you off. They only. Yeah, and then I was apparently in the last half of the queue. I didn't hit *1, so I didn't get to ask any questions. So what you're about to hear, long story short, is from the French conference call, and I've sort of edited 40 minutes of the call together so you guys can listen to it, and then, so here we go.
Hey guys, before we do any questions. First of all, this is Jeff, but speaking on behalf of both of us, thank you guys all for making your time, available to be with us today. We know that among you are several people who follow the show closely and are huge supporters, and we recognize that a large dent of the fact that we're coming back for season 4 is due largely to you guys for your support and drumming up attention for the show, and we could not possibly be more grateful.
Thank you very much.
Leonard retired from acting a couple at the end of our season finale. And he was very sincere about that, but Joel and I and Akiva were sitting around talking about the notion that William Bell would inhabit Olivia's mind, and we came up with what we thought was a really cool idea, and we called Leonard and pitched the idea to him, and he just started laughing, and he said, "Okay, I'm in. How do you want to use me?" And we talked him through that, and participating in the show. It's more than just giving us license. Like, obviously, Anna did a spectacular job, sort of like becoming William Bell. But I guess we can safely say that it gives new meaning to alternate reality. But it's very much.
Our goal was to try and make 2 shows about one show, have a very compelling mythology on the other side, and hope that our viewers and fans would be as engaged as we are with those people on the other side, which, if you can imagine looking at it from our perspective back then, it was, we didn't know if would really engage in it as much as we would like, but
we're
not going to end.
Yeah, it's not going
to end. That's our plan to go forward. That's a part of the language of the series now. So now, it's a huge success for us in that regard, because we know that everybody really has invested in the stories over there, and we can promise that it's going to be, it's going to be even more compelling, and we're going to develop those characters even more, and we're going to see more of our characters through their eyes and their characters through our eyes, and it'll definitely dimensionalize further. The baby will it will be part of it, but how it's handled, it's definitely. Remember, this is Fringe. You're getting a little overly excited. While all our cast can sing, with the exception of Josh, I think he said he couldn't sing, but I don't believe it. I think he can. Nobody sang on that album.
The album was recorded in 1970. Josh would have been just a wee little lad. Yeah, at last count, we've been able to track a couple hundred. So so let's assume that there's more than that. We are always percolating ideas for next season, but we haven't formally sat down and started. We're still finishing up this season. And then we'll dive into the next. We haven't formally sat down and started talking stories yet.
But we have a lot of ideas that we like.
Absolutely, the run up to the finale and the finale that impacts both universes directly, and we will be going back and forth within episodes. Somebody who we all love deeply will die. We're not introducing a third world. There's our world. And then there's the world that Peter was taken from as a baby, and we still have plenty of story to tell as an 8-year-old, and we still have plenty of story to tell just in those 2 worlds. And maybe at some point in the future there will be a third world, but not yet.
Not yet. No.
I think that we have an ending in mind, and we said this before. It's sort of like a file folder. Like, there's chapters that we can tell to round out that ending that we can drop in before we get to the ending that will just make it richer, and at the same time aren't necessarily required storytelling for the ending to work and be satisfying. One of the advantages to doing what Lost did is by announcing an end date, you make every episode leading up to that end date essential viewing. It sort of just like heightens the excitement and necessity of every episode. But that is not a place that we've gone with either the studio or the network.
All right, and that was our conference call with the creators of Fringe, which was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. All right, well, it's this is the first time we're going to try this out here. Mm-hmm. We got a jingle for doing, listener tweets and emails and all that stuff. So we're about ready to bust it out on you first time here. If you're a fan of 90s cartoon shows, you will recognize this. If not, well then it's just, you know what, we created it. We wrote it right here. As a matter of fact, we're all singing it. Uh-huh. I don't know. I mean, however you want to look at it in your demented mind. So, John, what day is it, do you think?
I believe it might be Mailbag Day.
I think it's a good... Here we go.
Mailbag Day, Mailbag Day. Hey, everybody, it's Mailbag Day.
Mailbag Day.
Mailbag Day.
Mailbag Day.
I wrote one of the articles, because I was on the conference call, I was able to put an Examiner article out really quick about the news, and we got a few responses from it. This one's from...
Jimmy John's quick.
From Nell. I find it really hard to believe they permanently kill off Peter, Walter, or Olivia. Maybe they do a Harry Potter, kill Peter or Olivia off without really killing them. Thanks, Nell, for your email. Next one is from Gabriella, also about the same thing, which is way to be overly dramatic, and I have to say that killing Olivia would be interesting, but newt plausible. She said newt, not. For the story, since Fringe is all about Olivia. She's the main character, while there have been other shows that have gotten rid of the main character and survived. The entire show is based around her perception of the world around her, yada, yada, yada. This leads me to Astrid. She's deeply loved and would not destroy any plot lines. Perhaps her death would affect Walter in a certain way, and they could use it as an alternate Astrid in some capacity over there. Plus, I read months ago that the actress playing Astrid wasn't returning next season, so do the math. I never read that. I read that stuff all the time. I've not heard that before. So, Gabriella, or Gabe, thank you very much. Our next email is an actual email from Austin. Well,
that loser.
Yeah, I wonder who that guy is. And Nathan, this one's for you, buddy. Not going to lie. No, it's not going to be bad. It's not going to lie. Cougar Town is no different, and by that I mean no good.
Yay!
Never thought that I would agree with Nate.
You do too, you jerk. You love me, and everything I say is right.
Hi, baby.
Hi, Austin.
It's an email. He can't hear you.
He
Yeah.
can't hear me.
Oh.
I did it too.
All right. Thank you very much for the email.
He's not writing in live.
Anyway.
Okay.
Our next email is from Joe Doe, and they go, I don't even know if that's a boy or a girl. What's a Joe Doe? Do you even know what a Joe Doe is?
A Jodo?
A Joe Doe. J-O-D-O.
It could be John Doe.
John Doe. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, for mail.
I just read your article about happy endings, and seriously, better than Friends, no frickin' way. Next one's from Timmy J. First half of your penny can video is funny. I saw your article about Fringe, and please say it isn't so. What main cast member may die? My wife and I watch that show. We are giant trekkers and really enjoy sci-fi, so it's refreshing to watch a show that picks up the reins of Battlestar Galactica and Lost. Thanks for the heads up. Gives me and the missus some time to prepare for the loss. Sort of hope it's not Walter or Peter. They are the core to that show, and so is Anna Torv. But you pretty much everybody in the main cast is core to the show. So our next one is from our common listener Wilbur. He actually wrote us twice in a span of a few years. Wilbur.
I was here when you read me.
Right, Wilbur. Wilbur's pretty cool. Hey guys, thought I'd check in again and just say that the Charlie Sheen song was really great. Hope that it spreads a bit like wildfire because it's really funny, and John does a great job singing.
Yay!
I was also wondering about the Oscar bet thing. Did you guys already see the movie, and did John choose yet? As I always do the show, keep it funny. So that's a good point. It's past the mark.
Well, we talked about Thor when it came out.
Do you want to do Thor?
Yeah, I might like to see that.
Okay.
That or one of the many superhero movies that are coming out.
Okay, well, it's your
it
call,
doesn't matter.
man.
We can pick. I want to see all of them, so
I can't pay for all of them.
I understand.
Okay. So yeah, Oscar bet happened. John won. I lost. I have to pay whatever movie John
I'm the
wants to
most
see.
consistent. I remain at number 2.
All right. Our next one is from Isaac, and he goes.
Isaac.
God, you're dumb.
He goes between.
Okay.
So between me and my husband, we've owned more MP3 players over the years than I can count, including a Senasis, an iRivers, an iPod, Classic and Touch, got Bizarre Rhapsody, etc. But the last few years, I've settled down to one line of players. Why? Because I was happy to discover how well designed and fun to see the underappreciated and widely mocked Zunes are. And that's sort of out of context. I don't really know. I think when you were on the show, we were talking about the iPhone, and Nathan went on his little rant about all Apple stuff in general. And that seems to be a Microsoft favored. I don't know. I don't.
The Zune's not that bad. It's like $9.99 a month for unlimited downloads or something.
Oh, it's Rhapsody. pretty much.
Rhapsody's pretty nice, actually.
But I think it's a download through Rhapsody though. I'm pretty sure.
All right, we actually had 2 more emails from Wilbur, but they were sent right. I think I don't know. But next one is from Wilbur. He goes, just want you guys to know that I'm still loving your show. I am now fully caught up to every episode. And just a note, this is a general comment, but more directed at Nick. You may not want to say you like pedophilia or whatever, or however it is you say that. Just a little FYI, and I reckon I never heard a dead baby joke until I Googled it. I guess I could do without them, but some of them are actually funny. As always, the loyal listener, who is Wilbur. P.S. Why the change in the song at the beginning?
Oh.
And
I like the song. At the beginning.
I like. Well,
it's nice for a change.
It is.
It used to be Little Steven and.
Well, yeah, Little Steven and the. Oh, I don't know the rest of the group.
I don't know. I think I got it.
But yeah, Little Steven and the something somethings.
Dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun,
that's what I wrote?
dun. Well, you arranged it, yeah. And that song is great. So that's pretty much, anytime I think of our actual theme, Inside of Me, anytime I actually think of our theme song, I always think of that song, no matter what. But yeah, then I switched it up with New Radicals. It's a New Radical song. So, and then after that, I wanted to change it up. And initially, I was going to change it to something else. And me and John talked over a few songs. I think it was another Cake song, CeeLo Green song, and a Cobra Style song. And it ended up, I just chose the CeeLo Green song. So that's why that was chosen. Wilbur, thanks for your emails. And then that's all our emails. Do we got some tweets, though?
Yes, we do.
Is this all from one person?
What's that, Wendy?
Like one person says all these?
No.
I don't know.
No. It's really good.
Okay.
You read the first one.
Hold on.
We were doing prep for the show, and Nathan just could not read the first one.
Okay, this is a tweet from... Hold on. Got it. From Eleanor Downing.
Hi, Eleanor.
Hi. And it says, great at Good Bad Geeky episode with at VDoozer, which is Bill Lawrence.
Yes, Bill Lawrence.
Hearing him talk about social media and TV was fabulous.
Fabulous. Well, thanks. It was a lot of fun.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. We actually got some mad love from VDoozer for Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's nice of him.
It was.
It was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's a busy guy.
He's a busy guy. Do we have any more tweets or?
Yeah. You want to do the next one, Nate? Or I will do it if you'd like.
I don't mind. I just don't know who this is. All right. So, in response to my question about thoughts on the Paul Reiser show,
my question meaning probably what Nick said.
Oh yeah, sorry. I post. If you don't know, if you follow the Twitter feed, I post my articles for Examiner.com.
Oh, so this is you saying this?
No.
He had a
I had an article
with thoughts about the Paul Reiser show.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I'll just read it.
So this is what Phone Home had said.
Thank you, John.
How do you know that?
Because I read the damn tweet.
It doesn't say anywhere Phone Home.
Are you reading the sentence?
That means they're complete.
How about I?
Oh, I see what. Okay, I get it. Okay. So, in response to my question about thoughts on the Paul Reiser show, Phone Home says terrible. So he did not like the show.
Yeah, he did not.
Yeah,
It's
it
a bad
became
show.
too much for me when they. Well, I did not speak when you read your sentence. Shut up.
Because I
God,
understood what it said.
I get it now.
And you didn't have to explain it to me.
I'm going to start over. Are you ready? I'm going to start over. So, in response to my question about thoughts on the Paul Reiser show,
God.
Phone Home says it's terrible. Yeah, it became too much for me when they actually had Larry David on. That means they're completely aware it's a crappy ripoff. I have no idea.
Yeah, don't.
So I haven't
You're fine.
seen
You know what? Don't ever. No, just stop.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, any goodwill that Paul Reiser might have given you, if you remember Mad About You, don't even go near that shit.
All right, good.
All right, well, Angie Esco asked, have you come across anything like the IT Crowd, and then BBC's in parentheses, and not The Office?
I've not watched the IT Crowd. BBC is the actual British version, the British network over there.
Oh, British Broadcasting. Okay.
Yeah, British Broadcasting Company. No, I've not seen the IT Crowd. It's in my Netflix queue, but I've not watched it. All right. So, do anyone else have anything else they want to add before? Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and take a break, and then we'll be right back with 41 comic creator Bob Frantz.
love me for reasons that won't last. For a night hop past, you know, morning comes up fast, and you're left with a day of choosing this and that. If I make you dinner, does it leave me in a dress, a ruffle mess, turning white, accented by my hair up tight? We just might break my temples open, reveal my fright. If I put the man before me like winter's bee, or I have seen it decay me, and I'll never return to that cold. There stood a body at the bottom of the stairs, just staring up there to the top, crippled by his age, or maybe just how New York can behave. Meanwhile I stopped. He held me like a rail, I brought him up to his flare. Oh, maybe the city isn't too rushed to talk. The need for the hand, or the red on his face, had it taken place, I had already chosen to walk. If I put the man before me like winter's bee, or I have seen it decay me, and I'll never return to that cold. If I put the man before me like winter's bee, for I have seen it decay me, and I'll never return to that cold.
Hey, you know what book I've not read in a while?
What?
Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. There's a few new ones I wouldn't mind having either.
I'm busy a lot of the time too. Yeah, that's why I listen to audiobooks on my iPod Touch. It helps me stay in touch with the books I want to read and allow me to, fit in between the rest of my responsibilities. That is why for some of you listening to the Good, the Bad, and the Geeky podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 14-day trial to give you a chance to check out their service.
I was able to sign up and get a free copy of one of my favorite books, Catch Me If You Can.
Hey, do they have Horton Hears a Who?
Let me check.
Yes, they do.
So if you'd like to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky.
What's that again for the free audiobook?
Again, that's www.audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky for your free audiobook.
And we are back! Back to the good, the bad, and the geeky show. I am one of the hosts, DJ Meat.
I'm Nick Nitro.
Oh my god.
They know who we are.
I know.
They've been listening for a half an hour.
They have been. We are back. It could be anyone
Wendy,
else.
you just need to reintroduce
Hi, I'm
yourself.
Wendy.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
All right.
Good to see you.
Enough of that horse shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Good show.
Well, a couple days
Are we
ago,
redoing
Nick
that?
did an interview with his name's Bob Frantz. Bob Frantz, and his comic he does is called what is it? 41.
Yep, 41.
And
41. It's not divisible by anything.
All right, so this is the interview with me and Bob. Hey, Bob, thanks for doing the show. How you doing?
I'm good, Nick Nitro. It's a pleasure to be on your broadcast. It's a pleasure to be speaking to you all the way in Columbus, Ohio, you understand.
Oh, yeah. And you're from North Carolina, or you're from Virginia?
I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Virginia Beach, Virginia. That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is. Well, it just sounds better, so then people can specifically go on the map and see where Virginia Beach, Virginia is and go, oh, there he is, right there, you know?
Well, I always try to do a little bit of research on people, beforehand, especially since I was speaking with you, and I did see that you were in broadcasting.
That's right, I was. I was in broadcasting up until last Thursday, as a matter of fact.
Dude. Because I was like, oh, this is really exciting. I can talk to him about this, and then I was double checking some stuff, and I was like, oh my god. I mean, that sucks so bad.
The way I look at it, Nick, is are you a sports fan at all?
No, but I know enough to get by.
All right, look at it like this, okay?
I'm good.
In the field that I was in, and that I'm still in, it's a 100% chance that you're going to be fired. It's like Joe Torre used to manage the Yankees. He won the Yankees 4 World Series, but they fired him anyway. That's just the nature of the business. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. It's just how you deal with it, and I feel like I'm dealing with it very well. So
yeah, which is very good. But I mean, I've heard that you because of your loyal fan base, you guys have gotten the owner of Sinclair to actually post, hey, calm down, like a little memorandum on the website and all that stuff, which, I mean, that's good that your fans aren't forever over that.
No, I mean, it's pretty amazing. I appreciate the opportunity I was given by Sinclair Communications to work there for 10 years, and I appreciate the hard work that the fans of the Mike and Bob show have put in to try to recapture the magic of the program. It's fascinating, and it's amazing, and it's great. It's just nice to feel that loved,
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I used to I went to broadcasting school and did all that stuff, and it didn't really work for me in that respect, because it was sort of a cut. It's a cutthroat business, as you were saying. And I'm not built for that. You know what I mean? And
it makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not totally built for that, and so I walked away from it. And also, podcasting today is in a state where you spend like at least under $1,000. That'll last you for 10 years of quality hopefully quality podcasting. You know what I mean? So I figured that I would take care of that little itch there, and I could do other stuff and keep that going on the side.
No, it totally makes sense. And with your podcast, you can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. So there's a large sense of freedom there, and it sounds a lot cooler. You know what I mean? What do you do? I work for a commercial radio station. What do you do? I do a podcast. It's like, oh wow, that's so cool. What an indie guy you are. You know what I mean? So it works either way.
Well, let me ask you, because of that, I know obviously you're going to get another job in the industry, but have you thought about doing your own podcast, or continue your program with Mike on the interwebs? I probably can't call it the Bob and Mike show, but or
I have more ideas cooking in my head right now that are possibly imaginable. You know what I mean? I have so many things going on right now. So I mean, anything is possible. Anything. So yeah, you never know.
I'm a big comic book guy, and I've always been, since my dad he found Amazing Spider-Man. He didn't find him. I was getting Ninja Turtles. I know, really. Yeah.
No, they're relaunching that. I'm super excited about that.
Well, Nickelodeon. I'm a little worried though, because Peter Laird, instead of giving it to someone that he trusts, he gave it to Viacom, and they're I don't know. I don't trust corporations, man, when it comes to that stuff.
Dude, you're so indie, it's preposterous.
To a degree, okay, it's like Spider-Man. At the end of the day, they're always going to create Spider-Man stuff, and 9 times out of 10, the Spider-Man stuff will be okay.
Yeah.
It won't be. But then you look at stuff with Paramount and Viacom. Movie studios act a little bit different than comic book companies do, even though they're both corporate entities to me. And so it just feels like if Turtles doesn't do well, they're going to lock that shit up so fast in the vault except for like the 80s cartoon stuff, which, you know, it got me into it, but now as an adult, I like the grittier stuff. Even the Archie Comics version, which became a little bit more adult as it went along, you know, even though it was under the guise of the cartoon show, you know, spinoff. I don't know, like it bothers me a little bit that Peter Laird just couldn't give it to somebody else that he trusted and just still walk away from it completely.
Well, I'm still excited just to see new Turtle stuff. If it sucks, if it sucks, it sucks. If it's awesome, great, you know?
I know, especially after the 2K3 stuff, the cartoon, which was out, which you know, until the very end, where again the corporation part sort of took over, which is we got to make toys and money off of it, which, you know, you understand a little bit.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, you know, that's why you get into things, hopefully, to make toys and money. It's like the George Lucas model, you know?
Oh God. Well, yeah. Well, hopefully, episode 4 through 6 model. You don't want to go to the episode 1 through 3 model because
totally.
Oh Lord, but. So yeah, I mean, I've gone to comic books from that, and then Dad showed me his old Amazing Spider-Man. As a matter of fact, he gave them to me to see if I could get any money for them. But it's teamed to the point now where we both talked about I'm not gonna do that because he has like even though he's read it so much the cover's ripped off. He has the death of Gwen Stacy and the death of the Green Goblin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he also has like issue 100. He has like, matter of fact, I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt right now, and it says like the spider or the man. My dad has that issue.
As a matter of, it's funny that you should mention that issue because I have a gel skin on my iPhone, and the iPhone is issue 100 of Amazing Spider-Man, which says the man or the spider. So I mean, I totally get the Spider-Man thing, you know.
Oh yeah, and because of that, and in the 90s, comic books exploded, you know, really big because of Image. I think helped that, and all that stuff. Spawn, Savage Dragon. So I got into comic books really hardcore then, and then of course, you know, money becomes an issue. You want to do other things, girls and stuff like that, and so you sort of move away from it. But you always, at least for me, I always stayed in touch with that. Now, how is that for you? Were you always like still collecting comic books, or did you, like me? There's a point where you stopped and then got into it again?
I'm exactly like you. As a kid, I read comic books like a madman, but it was different then because you couldn't get everything that you wanted every month. Like they didn't have pull sheets. You would just go to like your local bookstore and you would grab what you would grab and you'd read it, and that would be the end of it. But then I had a friend of mine talk to me about the Civil War. That was in 2005?
Yeah, it's Civil War, yeah.
Civil War is what got me back into comics. Somebody said, "Hey, do you know all the Marvel heroes are fighting each other?" I said, "That's the coolest thing I've ever heard." And from there, it's just kind of been all downhill. You know, I had to give up drinking and smoking to, you know, support my comic book addiction, but I think it's well worth it in the end.
Oh, now let me ask you, did you like how Civil War ended because that's what got you into it, or did you feel like it was a little, like it petered off in issue 7? Or
I've said this once before, and I'll kind of say it again. The way I look at endings are really tough to do, like, because go to any comic book store in the entire world, go to any comic website, everyone and their mother has an idea about how something should end. And if it doesn't work out the way they want it to end, they get kind of upset about things.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, Mark Millar, I mean, you know, how were you going to end something like that? How were you going to end the Civil War? I mean, it seemed kind of, I don't know, it seemed kind of strange all of a sudden Captain America, after seeing all these crazy things happen in issue 7, is going to go,
okay, I'm done.
You're right. You know what I mean? Like it seemed like a kind of like a cop out, but it still was good. It was good enough for me. Like the journey getting there was worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. I mean, it was so well written and so well done. And just if the ending kind of lacked, you just kind of look back and go, well, it was still a great series. Just the ending didn't have the necessary thing. And if you look at it, the ending was the death of Captain America. They just chose to do that in Brubaker's book. So, you know, it was good enough for me. Like it got me back in, and now I'm full in all the way, and it's great. Like I can't believe how long I went without reading comic books in my life, and it really is. It's the best hobby in the entire world. You know, it's just so much fun to do, and it's something that I have a 7-month-old daughter, and I've already given her first comics, and right now she's wearing her Spider-Man onesie, and just like, you know, she's in too. You gotta indoctrinate them young, you know.
Okay, well, I read the book a few times. Your book, by the way, is 41, and do you have? I know you have a Facebook page and you have Twitter, but do you have like an actual website for 41?
I'm working on the website now. A friend of mine is building the site for me, so when it comes out, it'll just be 41comic.com. But right now you can get it on the facebook.com/41comic. The Twitter's the same thing, 41comic. It's twitter.com/41comic. But yeah, well, the website should be launched soon, so.
That's cool. And are you now, did you guys launch, because was it Comic King?
Comic Kings is they're a local comic shop around here, and the owner Joey Boyack is super cool, and he's more than willing to help like independent creators because we have I guess it's more of like a collective. There's 4 of us. It's myself, my friend named Vince White, who wrote and draws a book called Willpower, which is fantastic. Check it out on Facebook. It's called Willpower. Okay. And then another friend of mine, Mike Federale, he's a writer. He's written a book called The Skyrocket, and he's working on a book now called The Baku with Drew Moss, and it's got a lot of buzz. So I mean, we're all together. We're called Primal Paper Comics. Like that's the name of our little imprint. And we're going to cons this year as Primal Paper Comics. And, if you see us at Charlotte, we'll be at Charlotte. We're going to be at Baltimore. Nice. Stop by, say hello, pick up some of the books. And, we'd be glad to talk to you about anything in the world,
So 41 comic, I read it, and it's Apocalypse. It's 41 days after the apocalypse?
No. It's 41 years after an apocalyptic event. Yeah.
After the event. Or does someone in the characters like Carter or et cetera, do any of them know what caused it?
Nobody knows. There are rumors. It's just like the way I look at it is because the majority of the population of Earth were wiped out.
Gotcha. No, yeah. So no
the
one
knowledge
really knows.
of the event would be kind of vague. There'd be theories around. There'd be kind of, I guess like half truths, this, that, and the other thing. So people really don't know. And what I'm going to do is, because it's a series, this is the first 4 issues. Issue 2 is out now. Issue 3 is getting ready to come out in a couple months. Issue 4 is in the process of being drawn. In issue 5, there's new characters. There's some characters that come in and they have their own theories and they're going to talk about it. So it's going to be kind of like a revolving mystery about what happens. But I mean, the reason why it's 41 years into the future is because I figure that's a safe enough time so I don't have to get caught up with the whole idea of, well, how do they have gasoline? Well, they just do because, they figured it out. I don't have to get caught up in like the overall like science of it all.
Life
do you see what I'm saying?
Life has found a way to continue on after the event, so you don't have to get into the fine print of that.
Exactly.
That's very clever because I, never once reading that did I ever think that, because in every story, there's always people who find things, and also the way it was drawn, which it was wonderfully drawn, by the way, and the name escapes me off the top of my head. Who was your artist?
The dude's name is Pablo Pepino. Pablo was awesome. He recently drew something for Marvel. He drew a Son of Satan 8-page Son of Satan story in a book called I think The Tomb of Terror, and he's doing a 28 Days Later issue as well for Boom Studios. So yeah, the art's brilliant. It's really great.
It really is, and he knocked it out of the park. And the way you guys have set it up is, some of the cities are still standing, so it makes sense to me. It never once dawned on me, oh well, how the did they do that? No, it was very clear that people have salvaged things, weapons, or they've somehow found a way to make their own. It never once came to me that. I think it was very, very well put together in that respect. So that never once. And I think that was you being very clever and going, okay, the reader's hopefully smart enough you don't have to spoon feed it to him.
Totally. And that's the whole idea. Like I've gotten a lot of stuff about, well, what happened?
Well, yeah, that's the mystery though. That to me, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
No, I'm sorry. I was like, well, you were saying, well, they were asking you what happened, and I was like, well, that's the beauty of it. That's the mystery of what the whole story is, I would think.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole story is just at the same time too. It's like I also kind of look at it as you can focus on the past, but if you focus on the past, you're going to get left behind. You're going to have to continue to strive forward. You're going to have to learn to survive because you can't focus on the past. You can't do it. You have to worry about tomorrow. If you spend all day worrying about what happened yesterday, you're never going to get anywhere. So right. the people in the book, the setting of the book is just like they've chose to forge ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. That's actually a very valid thing. And of course, you said it in this situation where bullets are flying and all this kind of stuff. I was very enthralled with the book. I was very pleased with it. I thought it was very well done. Now, are you sticking with black and white for the whole run, you're thinking? Or
yeah, I have to. In black and white, it's just cost effective.
Yeah. Now, are you printing with an official company, or are you doing print on demand?
I am printing basically. There's a local printer I use called Dominion Printing. They're fantastic, and I just print 250, 300 at a time, and then once they sell out, I'll go back and buy more.
Nice.
I just don't want to be that guy that goes out and prints 2,000 comics and I sell 150, 200 of them. And I'm sitting here with 800 comics, going, what the am I going to do with these things? You know what I mean? So
no, I agree with that. I mean, and the thing is with print on demand is that I use Kablam, and so far for the most part, I would say 95% of the time they've been really good. But anyway, so yeah, 41. It takes place 41 years after this event. No one knows what it is, and who is, because there's sort of a bunch of leads. Who is probably the standout lead character ultimately? Because I figure this is going to be like a sprawling epic, which it probably is. Which one is the main character that will eventually come to the forefront? As
of right now, there are kind of two main characters, and I think you see a little bit of that in issue 1. Mm-hmm. The two main characters from the team, because the story basically at this point is you have a group of mercenaries. You have 7 mercs that are hired by a man, a very mysterious man too, who lives in a bunker, which is always awesome. Bunkers are always good. He lives in a bunker. And he hires the team to go out and find a researcher that has the kind of key to, I guess, a brighter tomorrow. He's made a great discovery, and it could lead to a better tomorrow. The main characters of the book will be, there are 3 of them. There's the villain that you haven't met yet. He appears in issue 2. And there's the 2 main characters would be Carter and Hernandez. Now Carter is the female of the team. And I kind of put her as like, she's the brains of the operation. Yes, you know what I mean? She's the smartest one. She's not necessarily the toughest chick, but she knows what she's doing. She can handle herself in a fight, but she's clearly the brains of the operation. And then there's Hernandez, who I guess is the kind of old school, kind of like shoot first, ask questions later guy. I mean, for God's sakes, he's got a beard and a bomber jacket. I mean, you don't get any more tough than that. You know what I mean? So
hell yeah. Well, how did you? Is this a story you've always had, or how did you come up with 41?
Well, first off, I've always been fascinated by the post-apocalyptic setting. I mean, I'm a sucker. You can show me any post-apocalyptic movie, and I'll watch it religiously. It's just like, I mean, you just run down the gauntlet. Like, I love Waterworld. I love The Postman. I mean, I love Mad Max. I've seen movies that probably people never. I saw this one called The Quiet Earth that was like this weird Australian film. I love the setting of post-apocalyptic worlds. I think it's fantastic, and I like the idea of writing a team. So I figured I like the setting. Teams are always more fun to me than one person, so I'm gonna put this team together, and essentially it's the A team in a post-apocalyptic world.
I was getting that vibe. I was like, this is like reading the A team. You know, in this setting, it's pretty sweet. And the thing is, I really picked up on Carter because, again, I don't want to spoil anything for those who do read it, but she's more mentioned in passing, sort of, because she's introduced into the book.
Yeah, it's Carter. Basically, it's Carter and Hernandez, and the rest kind of, they do their thing, but I still spend enough time kind of featuring them in the book throughout. So everybody has kind of like a shining moment. There's a great little scene with Reyes in issue 2 that I just love, and I just try to make sure everybody kind of gets their own little, I guess, their own little vignette, if you will, like their own little kind of moment to shine. So it's kind of cool.
And see, that's the beauty, is that sometimes with ensemble groups, and I think that you were in the first issue, you don't have that really problem because you got to introduce everything. But after that, usually a lot of people have to keep the ensemble going. Who do you bring to the forefront? Who do you not? Or how do you? Sometimes they get lost in that. Mm-hmm. I think Fantastic Four is a good example of that in terms of normal big corporation based comic books. In terms of I forget his name right now. The guy who's running it right now has brought everyone up to the forefront. It made it a real ensemble comic again. And before that, I think a lot of people lose focus of that. So in general, ensemble characters in comic books can sometimes be very hard.
It's difficult to do. You got to kind of keep a spotlight on 4 people, and in my case, there's 7 of them. So it's a little difficult, but I try to make sure everybody has like their own little moment to shine, whether it's a snappy line or a cool scene or just something like that. So you can do it without kind of taking away from the overall feel of the book.
Definitely. Now, how many pages are you going for per issue? Does it change, or are you going for the standard 23, or are you going for 32?
Well, what happened in issue 1 was, because Pablo had such a heavy workload, he was doing my book, he was doing the Marvel book. My book kind of got pushed down on his priority list, which makes sense. I mean, the guy's working. I mean, he had a chance to do an 8-page story for Marvel. He did a whole issue of 28 Days Later. So I mean, it kind of makes sense to me. I wasn't, there were no hard feelings. But Pablo, the issue ends with Heilman tied to a chair. That's how the issue ends. But initially in the script, there were 6 more pages after that. But I kind of knew that the artist wasn't going to produce those 6 pages for me, because it had already taken 8 months to get that far.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? This is a good ending for issue 1. What I'll do is I'll just put those 6 pages in issue 2. So issue 1, I think, is like 22 pages of actual content. But then issue 2 is, I think, like 30, because it's got to be by 6. It's got to be by 4. So issue 2 is 32 pages long. So it's 10 more pages on top of. So, it's going to vary here and there just because sometimes I'm going to feel a little long-winded. Sometimes I won't,
How far along are you? It says like you're working on issue 6 right now, but in terms of before issue 1 was even released to anybody, how far along were you in the process? Were you working on issue 3? And when issue 1 was officially, because is it just now? Because it looks like it's been out for a little bit now.
Issue 1 came out in December. I want to say December 8th.
Okay.
Issue 2 came out in February. Issue 3 should be out here in the next couple weeks. As scripts go, I am currently, I think I'm on issue 7 for scripts.
Nice.
The art for 3 is complete. I can sit here on my computer and look at the first 3 pages for issue 4 because I had to go with a new artist. So what happened was, like I said, Pablo was really busy. Okay. So while he was in the process of drawing issue 1, I hired the cover artist who goes by he's an English guy who goes by the name of Alexander Singleton. I hired him to do issue 2. So the funny part was issue 2 was actually finished before issue 1 was. So, and I just sat on issue 2 because, I had to make sure I gave issue 1 enough time to kind of breathe and get out there and let people see it. Issue 2 is out. Issue 3 is done right now. I mean, I can sit here and look at it. Like I said, it's just, it's a process, man. It really is, and they'll come out when they come out. As often as they come out, and hopefully people read them and people dig it. That's the main thing,
Oh yeah, totally. Well, it's just fascinating, especially when you're doing an independent landscape, because obviously things work differently. There is no, main direct line, through distribution because it's just insane to do any of that.
It really is. I mean, the Diamond thing is just crazy. Like the numbers you have to have, and they don't even do one shots anymore. And and they take so much of your profit that it almost cripples a creator that doesn't have the kind of numbers of the following. So this is something that I'm looking like, the way I look at it is like I'm a rapper and I'm selling CDs out of my trunk. You know what I mean? That's how Ludacris got started. That's how I'm getting started in the comic book world. I think I actually further down the road, our little group is going to try to independently distribute because it's not really that difficult. All you got to do is just put some legwork in and look around and find stores that are friendly to indie books and make a little preview guide and just kind of go from there.
You're not drawing the book yourself as well, which is fine because I think that's really cool. I'm really fascinated about how the back and forth of how that works. And also in the beginning of issue 1, you did a very nice intro saying thank you to everybody for everybody's support, and you also said that there was a few different artists before that.
Oh God, yeah, it was torture. The first artist I had was because you find all these people on DeviantArt. DeviantArt's the best place to go.
It really is,
yeah. Yeah, it's a great tool for someone who can't draw, such as myself. So I went on there. I found a dude who was in the Philippines. It just never really worked out. He never really gave me any work, and then I was just like, fine, that's it, I'm done with him. It was just a process. It was always like, oh yeah, I got something coming. Nothing ever came of it. Then I met a second artist who on DeviantArt who said, yeah, I'm willing to do it. I like the script. I think it'll be fun. Let's do this. I said, okay, great. So I sent him the scripts. He said, well, the only thing is I need half the money up front for issue 1. I said, okay, that's cool. I had some Christmas money because it was around Christmas of 2008, I think, or 2009. I said, that's fine. So I sent him some money, and I never got any work from him.
Ew.
Yeah, so I called my credit card company, and, I was able to recoup that money. So that was kind of cool. So I was kind of jaded by the whole process. And then I met Pablo. And like I said, Pablo's an Argentinian dude. And we just kind of clicked. He's a really nice guy. He's a fantastic art. His art is just brilliant. It's really great. Like the detailing of like the firearms and stuff like that is just fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a really great artist. But unfortunately, like I said, he was kind of in demand. So it took him a lot longer than I would have liked to get the issues completed. So I found another artist in the process. And he even said, hey, I'm sorry this took so long. If you want to find somebody else, go ahead. I said, done. I already got somebody. He's a third of the way through issue 2, so don't worry about it. So then I have a new artist now, which I don't want to say it kind of breaks the feel of the book, but the second artist that I've hired is just as good as Pablo. Their styles are different. One of them does certain things better than the other, but the styles are different. But the book looks brilliant. I mean, he did the cover, so the cover art is basically the interior for the remainder of the series.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm really happy about that, and it's just a process, man.
So when you send him the script, did he? Of course, it was a process, but I mean, did he send you like character sketches back, and then you critiqued on that?
Oh yeah, that was a big part of it. Was what do you think about this? No, let's change this. Okay, let's change that. And the fun part about dealing with Pablo is he's Argentinian, and his first language ain't English. So I mean, there were some language barriers that we had to deal with, but I mean, we got over that pretty well, and we had a nice little chemistry going. He was a cool guy, but again, the work just kind of wasn't as frequent as I would have liked. So I went in a different direction. I hired an English dude by the name of Alexander Singleton, who was just more about the business. Like he's like, okay, I'm gonna draw this stuff. Here's your pages. Let me get my loot, which is cool because then it gets done.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'll take finished product over friendly conversation any day of the week.
I guess that I've always had a problem putting my business hat on and then taking it off while keeping the other hat on. So I applaud you for that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you do what you got to do. I felt bad about firing Pablo, but unfortunately it had to be done. And it was cool because he kind of stepped down as well. He was like, I really can't keep up with the pace, because he knew there were, 3 more issues coming. So he's like, I really can't keep up with the pace. I'm sorry. He's like, hey man, no big deal. And, it was nice of him to kind of step back and say, hey, I can't do this. And, like I said, there are no hard feelings. Pablo and I are talking about working on something, maybe a one shot down the road, because he's just that good,
Oh, hell yeah. How much is the book going for, by the way?
$2.99.
$2.99 per book.
$2.99 a book. It's a pretty good deal, especially on issue 2 because it's gigantic. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, I've not peeped out the cover for it. Is the cover going to be in color too, or is that part of the whole?
Everything's black and white.
Everything's black and white. Okay.
It's cost effective that way.
Yeah,
if you're selling a color book, you automatically have to sell your book for $3.99 to try to recoup any profits. And comic book fans, you're a comic book guy, I'm a comic book guy. They have a problem paying $3.99 for an X-Men book or a Spider-Man book, and they might not want to spend $3.99 on a book they've never heard of, or they're going to take a run at.
Mm-hmm. Well, this goes into another interesting debate that's always big with the internet is web versus print in the industry. DC has recently put out a thing saying, hey, I think we're stopping at $2.99. $2.99 is where we draw the line.
Yeah.
And Marvel, of course, is not, or at least not yet, publicly saying anything in that regard in defense of that. Do you think there is a debate between web versus print in any kind of any industry, not just comic strips, but in terms of comic books?
It's weird because when it comes to like music, I buy all my music on iTunes. I can't remember the last CD I've actually purchased. And I like it that way because I just load it into my phone and I've got everything I need right here in one nice package. But when it comes to comic books, I mean, I'm old school. I want to feel the paper in my hand. You know what I mean? I want to go through the joy of flipping each page and like looking at the ads and having a good time with it and going back and rereading it. So, I mean, when it came to the idea of doing, I guess, a web comic for 41, I immediately was like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't care. I want. There was nothing better than that day. It was a cold and rainy day in December when I finally got the call from the printer saying, hey, your book's are ready. And it wasn't even finally. It was, 3 days later, hey, your book's are ready. And I went up to the print shop and I got them and I opened up that box. And it was like every Christmas I've ever had rolled into one magical day, because there it is. It's your comic book. You created it. Your hard work and your sweat and your, worrying about how am I going to pay for this and how am I going to do that. And there it is right there in 22 glorious black and white pages. It was the best feeling in the entire world. So I will never, ever, ever go digital. I mean, I will sell, if worse comes to worse, I will mail out PDFs of books to reviewers because it's easier that way than having to go through the rigmarole of going to the post office, because the post office is a god-awful confusing place.
Oh, jeez, it is, too. And then they get mad at you, especially because I don't go there all the time. The few times I've been out there to do shit, to mail stuff out, they get mad at you for not knowing what the f*** to do. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. There's like a laundry list of just it looks like Chinese symbols on the wall.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So, I'll mail out the PDFs for people. I think that's a good way to do it. But, it just, for me, there's nothing better than, seeing that comic book created and just going, wow, I did this. You know what I mean? It's a great feeling of accomplishment. It's very cool.
Well, I know you said you never go digital, but in some respect, after like maybe 2 years or a year, have you thought about still making the Dead Tree form, the actual book, but have you thought about selling the book online for 99 cents?
I thought about doing that. Yeah, once I kind of get as much as I can out of the actual print run. If people want to buy it, online for 99 cents, that'd be fantastic. I got no beef with that. But I'm always going to print no matter what. I'm even thinking about once the first arc is completed, the first 4 issues, I'm even thinking about just printing a trade just for me, just to have it, so I can sit there and look at it and go, this is what I did. I did this, so I can show my daughter one day when she's a lot older, because there's some bad language in it, but I can show her, hey, look what your daddy did before you were born. He had a lot more time on his hands. Now let's go to soccer practice. You know what I mean?
Well, Bob, thank you very much for talking 41 with me here. I greatly appreciate it. Again, was it Facebook.com/41comic and Twitter.com/41comic?
It's Facebook.com/41comic. That's where you can go if you want to get the book. We'll work it out on PayPal, because the book is basically, it's pretty cool because I've managed to get it all over the country, because I have friends all over the place, and people just, I've done a couple of their podcasts, and people will come on and go, oh, the book sounds kind of cool. I'm interested to check that out. So, if you have a PayPal, I can get you a book. Yeah. It's very simple. Granted, I have to brave the post office, but you know what? I'll do it for your loyal audience, wherever they may be. They can be in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They can be in Manitoba, Ontario, Canada. I'll get the book to you, and you will enjoy it. I know you will, because it's a lot of fun.
Well, let me throw this out there too, because oddly enough, we have some international. Do you do your international orders yet, or are you just not to that point yet?
No, I've done a few. I have some friends and some listeners and stuff like that are all in the mill, because Norfolk's a big military town. So people that are on boats and they may be stationed in Iraq and stuff like that, and they've wanted the book, and I've managed to get it to them. It may take a little longer because you're in the middle of the fucking desert, but I can get you a book. Anywhere you may be, I can get you a copy of this book.
Through wind, through storm, he'll get your book there.
Exactly. And you know what? And when you get it, I hope you read it, and I hope you really like it, because like I said, a lot of work went into it. I think the story's cool. There's enough of a mystery there where you can read it and you can enjoy it. I explain to people simply. I went to Richmond Comic Con, which isn't very big at all. It was a very small con, but it was our first con. We looked at it as like batting practice for heroes,
Heck yeah.
I looked at it, and I would look somebody in the face and go, do you like complete and utter over-the-top violence? And the guy was like, yeah, I dig that. I was like, well, do you like lots of bullets and guns and things like that? Like, yeah, I like that. Well, then this, my friend, is the book for you. And and most of the time I was right. They would flip through it and go, oh, I gotta read this. I gotta buy it. So that's what it is, Hell
yeah, and that's $2.99 again, Facebook.com/41comic. As he said, if you have a PayPal account, he'll get it to you. Bob, thanks so much for doing the show, man. I'd love to have you back on, man. It was a lot of fun.
Nick, thanks. I really appreciate coming on. And, anytime you need a fill-in guest or something, or you just need a co-host or whatever, I'm more than willing to help out.
Man, that interview was so amazing and compelling.
Not loud at all in the mic.
I'm just so excited after hearing it.
I'm glad. It was a fun interview to do. Bob was, he offered,
like a lot of fun.
And as you heard, he offered to come back and help out on the show anytime, which I thought was really, really wicked sweet.
Very admirable.
Yeah, he was a really cool guy.
Worth it.
It was. Thank you.
Compelling and rich.
Yeah, 41 comic
not 42.
or Facebook.com/41 comic.
I think we're about done.
And speaking of how to get in contact with Bob Frantz, how about if people want to get in contact with our show,
we have stuff.
We do. We read your emails.
They can call us and leave us a voicemail at 614-364-4088. Or they can write us an email at goodbadgeeky@gmail.com.
They can tweet us.
Yeah, they can tweet us at goodbadgeeky. You have a Twitter at Giant Nate, and I have a Twitter at John Bettine.
And Good Bad Geeky at Twitter. And I'll plug the podcast. I put out Examiner articles, and I of course tweet to John and Nathan all the time. Also, by the time that this will hit the website, gbgpodcast.com, and the iTunes feed, just a little FYI, you can check out Bob's podcast, which he was keeping under the radar, which is now available. You can check it out, bobsboneyard.com. That's bobsboneyard.com. So check that out.
I'm not even going to comment to that.
All right, good.
And on that note, thanks everybody for listening to the show, gbgpodcast.com, and we'll see you next episode.
Namaste.
Yay.
Get out of here without cheese! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you start up, cheapers! Go have some coffee with cream or something? Because I'll tell you something. This is a happy place.
What the fuck am I supposed to say? What song is that?